Alan, you have a quick review of a new television show that is on
Daily
it's
Wire.
on the Daily Wire Daily Wire Plus app. Alan, I watched the original series that Convicting a Murderer is based on. It was on Netflix. I was riveted. Tell us about Convicting a Murderer.
Yes. So this is I'll just say that one of the reasons we're talking about it is it's on Daily Wire and we'll be the only ones talking about it. But this is a series a documentary series, 8 parts put out by Candace Owens. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But it takes a look at the Making of a Murderer series from Netflix. If you watch that one, it's the story of Stephen Avery, who a long time ago was convicted of a murder he didn't commit. He was released from jail. And then a woman visited his, I guess, a car lot or something he owned. She wound up missing, then found murdered. Then the keys of her car and his blood keys of the car was found in his home. Blood was found on the site. And according to Making of a Murderer, it looked like the police had planted that. And now him and his mentally challenged cousin are now in jail and currently in jail. And so the whole point of Making of the Murderer was to show that this nice guy was framed twice for a murder he didn't commit. And what Convicting a Murderer does is it looks at that series and realizes that they left out a whole lot of facts. In fact, she goes on to basically accuse the producers of that series of holding to a specific narrative and being willing to die by it. And the documentary goes through how the series has gone through and basically manipulated facts, manipulated or withheld evidence. And I think I can't get into too much spoilers because it comes out on Friday, but I think the point of this series is just how it's kind of indictment on the whole idea of being able to convict or exonerate people through social media, through docuseries, popular docuseries, and to me it was the difference between the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, and you hear the people who they're basically two camps: the people who watched the trial and the people who watched the analysis of the trial. And this is the kind of indictment on that. Now, I will say this though: this movie is about Making of a Murderer. It goes into those facts, and a lot of these ideas that came to mind in terms of an indictment on the system of conducting trials on television, they're kind of inferred. These are the things I'm thinking about as all this evidence is being laid out. It's not, I don't know if they're eventually going to indict the system of justice that's being conducted on social media, or if they're just going to talk about this. And I'll say this, my guess is the reason Candace Owens is a part of this is because the Daily Wire thought that this documentary was important and that the only way people are going to watch it is if Candace was a part of it. I don't know anything about the series. I have no beef or grudge against Candace, but this is the sense I get because her appearance in the documentary is just basically to explain various plot points along the way. The producer of the series does most of the investigation, and so it's interesting. I didn't really watch the first one like you did. And so I don't necessarily have an invested interest in the outcome of this. If they're right, the right people, if they're right, the two guys are still in jail, so justice is still being served. It's just interesting just to kind of examine the way trials are portrayed on television and this narrative that the documentarians have either way and how powerful that can be to the point where it created basically a civil war on Reddit between those who believe Avery and those who don't. So, I wouldn't say this is a groundbreaking documentary. It's interesting. So, any of this intrigues you, go ahead and take a watch. It's on Daily Wire starting Friday.
I'm interested to see it. I'm interested to see it mainly because I watched that original series on Netflix and because we know how easy it is to manipulate something. We know from watching a lot of movies and also documentaries these days are incredibly political. Almost every doc I see now is just propaganda. Whether it
Mhm.
comes from the left or the right, it's all propaganda. And I really would love to see an unbiased, I'm in search of the truth. Where are those documentaries? We
Yeah.
need more of those, number one. And number two, we have seen in our current day how the justice system is being abused and manipulated for one party. And it's disgusting. And I hope that this film gets into that.
Yeah. Well, let's be real. The justice system has been perverted on both sides. We saw a lot of that in the 60s. And you brought it up. The justice should be about the truth. Whether it's not about one side winning or the other side winning, it's about presenting the facts and coming to an opinion and
Look at
having
this.
people advocate for you.
All right.
But now justice, I mean, we're seeing it today. I can't tell you where. You might know, but it does feel like only certain facts are being presented to us, and B, the important people are the only ones allowed to analyze those facts.
Right.
And we need to get back to a point for justice sake, to where truth is a truth, and we decide based on the truth given to us at hand.
Right.